Now we have finished difficult words. Let's begin with the main part. The banyan tree, which is very well known, is a variety of fig tree. The name banyan used in English needs some explanation. The name seems to have been, दोबारा करेंगे ये slide. The name seems to have been given originally by European in the Persian Gulf. To the tree under which Hindu members of the merchant class, Banyas, used to assemble for worship or business, and gradually name spread to the other part of India and Asia. For centuries, poets and writers in India have sung and written about the banyan tree. The banyan tree seems to be common to the sub-Himalayan forest and slopes of the hill range in peninsular India. At present, it is commonly seen planted along many of the roads of India near temple and shrines and an open grounds near villages. Often, the tree is the railing point for the village, a kind of clubhouse where much of the social life and business of the community is carried out, and much of the gossip exchanged near the tree. Its cool shade affords welcome relief from the burning sun. In the hotter part of the country. It soothes and relaxes the person lying down under the tree. It is an enormous tree, 7,200 feet high, sending down roots from the branches which enter the ground and form trunks, thus extending the growth of the tree indefinitely. These roots that came out of the branches are at first as slender as cotton thread. But once they become attached to the ground, they grow into mighty pillars that support the weight of the heaviest branch. It supports the old banyan tree. The leaves are oval in shape and smooth and shining. The banyan tree is frequently planted along streets and roads, but it is an open place in the village that it reaches its full glory. As the tree grows in size, the number of roots from the branches increases, and the spread of the tree becomes greater until a whole battalion can shelter under the shade of some of the old trees. There are some famous banyan trees in India. In the Royal Botanic Garden, Sibpur, Calcutta, for example, which is 3.6 meter around the trunk and the crown of the root and the crown of roof of which covers cut. ये वाली स्लाइड दोबारा करेंगे. There are some famous banyan trees in India. In the Royal Botanic Garden, Sibpur, Calcutta. For example, which is 3.6 meter around the trunk, and the crown of roof of which covers 416 meter. An average one in Satara, Maharashtra is 483 meter in circumference. All vertebrates or backboned animals. Vertebrates are the animal who have backbone. Life is in the world is divided into two classes. The warm-blooded animals, and the second is cold-blooded animals. The former group includes those whose blood keeps a constant temperature and is little affected by the temperature of the surrounding air. The latter group includes fish, frogs, and reptiles whose blood temperature changes with the temperature of the surrounding atmosphere. These are the few examples in the picture whose temperature changes according to the surrounding atmosphere. The warm-blooded animals are further subdivided into mammals, including human beings, which are covered with hair, bear, live young, and suckle them, and birds which are covered with feathers, lay eggs, and as a rule make them hatch with the heat of their bodies. Birds are the only feathered creature in the world. At first sight, it might seem that all birds are the same. They all fly about, build nest, and lay eggs. A closer look will show that in fact birds' life includes many forms which they are very different from one another and which sometimes seem to be very little relationship to one another after all. It includes the tiny hummingbird, which is not bigger than a man's thumb, and the ostrich, which stands as high as a pony. It includes birds which can fly thousands of miles and others like penguin which cannot raise themselves off the ground. There are different kinds of birds in our environment. It includes birds which weave elaborate nests like the weaver birds, and other which lay their eggs straight on the ground without any preparations. It includes birds which require highly specialized food like vulture, which will only eat dead animals, and still like crows which eat practically anything except metal. It includes birds like domestic hen whose chick start running about and scratching for themselves as soon as they are hatched, and other like parakeets and eagle whose chicks leave their nest whose chicks cannot leave their nest for several weeks. And finally, it includes birds which seems to be unable to live away from the company of a man, and other which retreat and become extinct as soon as human beings come near the area in which they live. Thank you. Namaste.